In her first public comments about the Tories' cyberbullying bill, the Privacy Commissioner raises red flags.
There are stronger investigative powers. We should be concerned about them. However, all the powers for intrusion that we've seen on personal information have to be judicially authorized. So that's a big step up from C-30.
C-30 was the government's failed attempt at an online Big Brother. Jennifer Stoddard does like the cyberbullying elements of the bill announced last week, but
we're concerned about some of the thresholds for gaining access to personal information.
Her office will have to sift through it without her. After a decade on the job, Stoddard's term ends this week. We sat down with the commissioner, who gained international acclaim for locking horns with online titans Facebook and Google.
I think that those particular internet giants in their first forays into Canada were perhaps rather careless, if I can say.
Federal departments ended up in her crosshairs too. For the second year in a row, reports of data breaches and complaints about sloppy handling of Canadians' personal information reached an all-time high.
There has to be more training, more emphasis to civil servants about this is totally unacceptable, for example, to look into files that aren't assigned to you.
She worries about the unprecedented power big companies are gaining over Canadians by collecting so much data about us.
We have to change the law so that there's some incentive to try and keep within the parameters of Canada's privacy law.
Despite her constant pushing, no government has been willing to take that on. No successor has been named yet. Shirley Engle, Global News, Ottawa.
Hi there, I'm Darren Howard.
And I'm Robert Nisbet.
You're tuned into Video Radio from Kelowna, British Columbia, Canada, where we're taking a look at the Privacy Commissioner who had a few issues.
Yeah, she doesn't like the new cyberbullying, internet spying omnibus bill.
Yeah, but they hide everything that they can in the omnibus bill. It's the Conservatives' way to cover up the fascism that they wish to install. So, I'm Darren Howard.
And I'm Robert Nisbet. And speaking of fascism,
yes,
it seems our own government has been in bed with the U.S. spy agency, also known as the No Such Agency. And they were spying on the G20 summit in Toronto, and they've been actually helping the NSA continue their nefarious activities around the globe.
So check this out.
When most people probably don't think of Canada as a world player in espionage. But according to this American document, marked top secret, that's exactly what the U.S. is counting on. Canada is not only spying around the world, it often does so at the request of the U.S. National Security Agency. The secret document reveals Canada and the U.S. have been running joint spying operations in about 20 countries the NSA calls high priority. Some of those countries are Canada's own trading partners. A super-secretive agency called the Communications Security Establishment Canada, or CSEC, gathers intelligence by intercepting phone calls and hacking into data systems. According to the secret memo, cooperative efforts include the exchange of liaison officers and integrees, joint projects, shared activities. CSEC has even opened covert sites at the request of NSA. And the document goes on. CSEC runs operations in places the NSA can't. CSEC shares with NSA their unique geographic access to areas unavailable to the U.S.
I cannot comment on national security operations. It's that simple.
That was Harper in October, after another Snowden document revealed that CSEC was spying on Brazil. That raised howls of protest in that country. Here there were questions about who's minding the spies. The latest revelations of Canada's global espionage operations are bound to fuel that debate. And this former NSA executive says that's a good thing.
You cannot have this amount of secret operations outside the purview of proper oversight, which there's little or none of that even within Canada.
Canada's Defence Minister Rob Nicholson, who is responsible for CSEC, pointed out the agency is subject to review by an independent commissioner. In the United States, a spokesman for the government there said NSA collects intelligence that
So it's so nice to see that we're in bed with the NSA.
Yeah, I'm so happy about that.
But you know, they're keeping us safe from you-know-who.
Yes, yes.
The guys who will win.
If we stop doing what we do.
Yes.
Or keep doing what we do. At any rate, while we're undermining all of society, causing anarchy to hit the streets, and making sure that this government falls, we are writing the digital history books by reminding them of...
Oh, apparently the big Canadian gold mining company in Costa Rica has decided they want to keep their future profits even though they're destroying, tropical rainforests.
So while our Canadian government simply goes around and protects our corporate concerns on a global basis, we're jumping right in on their nightmare with this.
Behind the beauty of the Costa Rican landscape hides an ugly battle between a corporation's right to profit and a country's right to protect its environment. Calgary-based Infinito Gold has invested nearly $100 million in this region over the better part of 2 decades. The company thought plans for a lucrative project had been approved, but the government reversed the decision over approval irregularities and subsequently banned open-pit mining altogether in 2011. Last April, the company served notice it planned to sue Costa Rica for $1 billion in lost potential revenue, a decision that has since rallied environmental voices around the world. The Council of Canadians and Mining Watch Canada delivered a 14,000-name petition to the company's annual meeting last month. Since then, this U.S. petition calling for Infinito to drop the lawsuit has been signed by more than 200,000 people, and Twitter has been inundated with comments like, "Sued for protecting rainforests, show Infinito countries such as Costa Rica won't be silently bullied by corporate power."
Government like Costa Rica can do a lot with $1 billion, and so it's a huge threat.
Infinito did not return calls or emails today, but in an earlier statement, the company's Costa Rican subsidiary said while the public is entitled to its opinion, the company stands by its legal position that the Costa Rican government violated international trade agreements with Canada.
Our hope is that the company would actually eventually respect public opinion and the democratic wishes of the Costa Rican people and not file the suit.
So far, though, there is no indication the company has changed its mind. Francis Silvaggio, Global News, Calgary.
So remember, folks, the government and corporations only have your best interests at heart.
And if we don't listen to them, the terrorists will win. Or, the child pornographers, or, I'm so sorry Vic Taves is gone.
I know, I kind of miss him. He kind of looked like the Lorax, didn't he?
So while we record from right here in front of Christmastown, check it out. This is the frozen Canadian North during Canadian, global warming, climate change, which of course we're ignoring because we have to expand the oil sands for some reason. What do we got?
Oh, apparently the Canadian dollar is not in as good a condition despite the rosy economic report that Jim Flaherty came out with a couple of weeks ago.
So just like the 2008 financial crisis where our banks supposedly,
were solvent?
Yeah, we were solvent. Well, you use your judgment. Check this out.
For 3 years, covering 26 consecutive reports, the Bank of Canada has done nothing. Interest rates have stayed constant, stuck in neutral. But now the new head of the Bank of Canada is hinting at something nobody thought they'd hear. Rates may go down before they go up. Simply put, the bank lowers rates when it wants to stimulate the economy, and all indicators point to a need. Inflation in Canada has slowed, the dollar is dropping, exports need a boost, and the ratio of household debt to disposable income is at a record high. Even the once indomitable Potash Corp in Saskatchewan is feeling the pinch, announcing it would cut its workforce by 18%. It all adds up to an uncertain future for Canada. Adding to the confusion is the housing market, particularly in Toronto, which continues to defy logic by growing year after year. The average price of a house in Toronto was $497,000 in 2012. This year, for the first time ever, it'll be over $500,000 at an expected $522,000 for a healthy 5% gain. Why? Low interest rates play a part, but more than anything else, it's low inventory. There just aren't that many houses for sale. Given the unlikely equation of house prices rising while the dollar falls, the Bank of Canada is being careful with its next move, but it clearly sees an economy that needs to be kicked into gear. Mike Drolet, Global News, Toronto.
I love doing these shows, man.
I do indeed, too.
You know what? Because it's just fun. Right now, we are writing the digital history books because nobody's listening to mainstream or putting up with all the nonsense, you know. So, too bad for them.
But it's nice to know that the Canadian dollar is so strong. Oh, wait, it isn't. Prices are going up, but not because things are worth more, but because our money is worth less.
And if you want to really do some research, realize this. Our inflation rate does not talk about fuel or grocery prices, and that's why it's a great big lie. So,
however, we seem to have lots of money to support Israel.
And apparently there's a garden being built.
No, actually it's a bird sanctuary.
Oh, a bird sanctuary. So check this out.
They honored him for his unwavering support of Israel. In return, Stephen Harper serenaded his hosts and brought with him a bit of news.
I'm going to be going and visiting the state of Israel.
Since we have this terrific friendship with Israel, it would be an opportune moment to reach out.
To reach out to the Palestinians, but as far as bonds between world leaders go, Harper's most personal relationship, insiders say, is with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. After this passionate speech in 2010, Jewish groups from all over took notice. So did the international community when at the United Nations, Canada voted against the Palestinian symbolic bid for statehood on Iran's nuclear deal with Western powers.
It's a historic mistake.
Canada sided again with Israel, saying it was deeply skeptical of a deal not even all Israelis are opposed to. Former Prime Minister Ehud Olmert today called Netanyahu's criticism of the U.S. not only misguided and dangerous, but that they've declared war on the American government. Many also noticed when Stephen Bronfman, a dominant figure in Montreal's Jewish community, pointed out Stephen Harper has never been to Israel. Bronfman, a multi-millionaire, is now the chief fundraiser for Liberal leader Justin Trudeau.
While in Israel, Harper will also be visiting what some have called an unusual legacy, a bird sanctuary that was named after him.
Yeah.
So you know that Harper could take out some time to tour the devastation caused by the poverty that's being inflicted on us by the corporations who are currently running Canada.
But I don't think he's going to do that. He's going to spend our tax dollars on an all-expenses-paid trip to Israel, an apartheid state.
Yes, and because we're their bestest buddies.
And we do sell them lots of weapons.
I know. And, you know, it's making us so popular on the international field.
Yes, we're doing so well, especially when we come out and vote against Palestinian sovereignty and don't side with the U.S. on the Iran nuclear deal.
So, right now, we are wrestling under control, a year-ender, to take a look at the debacle, the embarrassment that is the Conservative government right in Canada right now on a local and a national scale. That's going to be coming up in the last week of December. I am Darren Howard.
And I am Robert Nisbet.
Please stay tuned and please check out our facts. If we're bringing you something that you think we're full of it, just let us know. We siphon through thousands of hours of mainstream media to find those few golden nuggets of actual news, and we bring them to you.
That's right. That's our job, and don't take our word for it. Do your own research, open up your minds, and join the conscious awakening of what's happening in the world.
Coming up next, we are going to be talking about banking.
Oh, our favorite subject.
So make sure you check out fractional reserve lending, and we'll be back after these.